The MLB All-Star break is a week away, so I'm going to be giving out mid-season awards if the MLB did that for all the different awards from MVP to Cy Young to Comeback Player of the Year, Manager, Relief, all those different awards. I'm going to be giving them out today. I want to quickly shout out Draftneck Mark for this idea. I saw some TikTok or short or whatever he made, and I thought this is actually a really good idea, and I'd like to give my take for all of these awards because honestly, the MLB season flies by so fast, and I think that in a half of baseball, a lot can happen. So for me, I like to just break it down, see who's playing the best. And some players are really surprising on the seasons they're having. Some are historic. So let's get right into it with the AL MVP. All right, the AL MVP, one of the most interesting races for awards in my opinion, between Aaron Judge, Cal Raleigh, Bobby Witt Jr., and Jose Ramirez as my four highlighted players for AL MVP. Now, when you're comparing these players, obviously, there's two guys, in my opinion, front-running it. It's Aaron Judge, it's Cal Raleigh. Go check out my former video if you want a bigger breakdown of this award and the AL MVP award just in general. I had a 10-minute video talking about Judge and Raleigh's race in itself. I do want to shout out Jose Ramirez. I do want to shout out Bobby Witt because I do think they are having fantastic seasons. But Judge, as the season has gone on, continues to just amaze me, and it's honestly gotten probably farther away in terms of my opinion on Judge as the season goes on. For him to still be batting .360, for him to still be slugging .734. These are old numbers because they both homered last night, but I mean, both of them are having insane seasons. Both of them are on contending teams. I mean, all four of these guys are on good teams. I think Cleveland and the Royals are kind of struggling near the end of the break. Also, the Yankees. Also, I mean, all these teams are honestly struggling, but these players definitely are. Bobby Witt, again, Gold Glove caliber shortstop, steals bags and does it all. I mean, he had a slow start to this year, but 849 OPS compared to Jose Ramirez, 856. If I had to compare those two and give it to one, I'm probably giving it to Jose Ramirez over Bobby Witt Jr. So in my rankings, it goes Judge number 1, Raleigh number 2, Ramirez 3, Witt 4, and I could easily see that going on and continuing throughout the season. Again, I don't want to say injuries. That's the only way I don't see it kind of ending like this. Maybe Raleigh after the home run derby and the home run derby swing jinx, he could kind of fall off a little bit, but honestly, I love watching these guys. 6.6 WAR. I think he's gonna hit close to 7 WAR before the All-Star break, which again is just ridiculous. He is the greatest right-handed hitter of all time. All right, NL MVP. All right, for the NL MVP, it is between P. Crow Armstrong, Juan Soto, Kyle Tucker, and Shohei Ohtani. Again, I think this race is kind of boring in my opinion. Ohtani has started pitching again. He started pitching well as well, and he's still easily the best hitter on this list. And again, I talked about earlier, I think I talked about this, the best, like if there was just a league-wide MVP, who would win it? And I said, well, Judge and Raleigh have been better than Shohei. But when he starts pitching, I do expect him to start starting games in this probably around September and in the playoffs. Right now, he's just like a built up being a pitcher again. And I mean, he's pitched really well, and he still has close to that 1,000 OPS. He's been slugging really well. He's just Shohei Ohtani. I think this race is not as fun. One thing to point out, both Cubs outfielders in this race, which I think is super interesting. Kyle Tucker, a free agent next year, I think is super interesting. Do the Cubs get to re-sign him? Does he go to a different team? Does he go back to Houston? I don't really know. Soto being on here, again, if you told me a month ago that Juan Soto would be a top 4 in the NL MVP, I probably would have called you crazy, but he's had an insane month. As a Yankees fan, I have to tip my cap. I knew Soto was going to put it around. His expected batting average was like 100 points higher than he was actually batting. I could have told you he was going to be good. I think that he is still Juan Soto. He's getting that rhythm back, and he's starting to, I think he hit like 11 home runs in June. So if you take away that month, he really was struggling beforehand. But it's Soto. He's doing his thing. Shohei Ohtani is my NL MVP in this first half. All right, on to the AL Rookie of the Year. It is between Nick Kurtz, Jason Dominguez, Jacob Wilson, and Cam Smith. Those are my 4 players who I think are going to win Rookie of the Year. I think right now it is a very much Jacob Wilson running away with it. He's the most interesting player we've had in a long time. I guess he's very similar like Luis Arias and kind of how he is as a player, but I still think that he's a very interesting player. Like, you look at the OPS, and Nick and Kurtz has a higher OPS, higher slugging, of course. A really good on base percentage. He walks a lot, like things like that. Where Jacob Wilson's game, like he hits for contact, but he walks at such a low rate. It's almost pretty insane. I think Cam Smith has turned it up in the last month. I think Dominguez has turned it up in the last month. Do I think they're going to catch Jacob Wilson? Probably not. I think the things you're seeing with Wilson in modern day baseball is very surprising. That 357 average. He is playing shortstop, which is a premier position in baseball. But honestly, it's good to see the A's having some life. I know moving out of Oakland is a big step for that franchise, and moving to Vegas next year potentially, or 2 years or whatever. I think that for them to have two players to kind of build off, I really like Lawrence Butler as well. I kind of just like their squad. They're close. If Severino could have panned out as a starter, I think this A's team could have been sneaky. If I did like season predictions on record, I probably would have put the A's being a little bit better than they have been. I really like Mason Miller as well. They had a rough month in there, but I still think with Kurtz, with Wilson, with these rookie studs, this A's team is going to get better. But Jacob Wilson, he's the starting shortstop for the American League. It's a one-headed race right now, but I really like all these rookies. I think Cam Smith being part of that deal, Houston got a really good player. I think Dominguez, if he starts to play every day with Trent Grisham being injured, he's got really big upside. Kurtz kind of just flew onto the scene. I mean, he showed up, had a couple homers, got injured, came back, has been super good. And, of course, Jacob Wilson. So if I had to rank him, I'm going Jacob Wilson. I'll give it to Kurtz and then Cam Smith. I think if Dominguez was able to... I think Kurtz has been good in 53 games over everyone else. So I'm going to give it to Wilson, Kurtz, and then Cam Smith. Cam Smith has 2.3 WAR comparative to Dominguez's 1. So yeah, that is my AL Rookie of the Year. All right, the NL Rookie of the Year, in my opinion, is one of the more interesting races in baseball. Let me try and pull up both of them here. It is between... It's really one of those where I think it's hard to give out awards right now, because the player I think is going to win it shouldn't win it mid-season. So I think Jacob Misiorowski, how he's been pitching, especially after this Dodgers start, I mean, he looked really, really good. And I think he's probably going to win it come end of season. But mid-season, he has not. I mean, he started 5 games. I'm going to give it to a 5-game starter. Probably not. On the other side, so it is between Misiorowski, Chad Patrick, Hong-Sung Kim, Agustin Ramirez, and Drake Baldwin. Between those 5 players, and I don't think any of them right now have easily won. Like, Jacob Wilson is easily the NL Rookie of the Year. Shohei Ohtani is easily Aaron Judge. We've talked about those players easily winning it, but I don't love any of these guys more than the other. To me, it's easily probably Agustin Ramirez right now. He's doing it at the catcher position, but he's just a hitting catcher. He's not a very good catcher behind the plate. His OPS is lower than Kim. It's lower than Drake Baldwin. And I think really if Drake Baldwin was like the everyday, because he's played 60 of the games, they still have like Sean Murphy in and out. I think there's some ways you could lean towards Chad Patrick. He's just, had pitched in 18 games. He's pitched to a 3.52 ERA. He's been pretty good. But again, it just doesn't feel like any of these guys really have stood out to me as like a premier Rookie of the Year. As on the AL side, I think like we would see Kurtz come onto the scene and be the favorite, or Dominguez if he was in the net. Like, I think the AL rookies are a little bit better than this time. In the NL rookies, there isn't a Paul Skeens on the NL side where it's like, yeah, I mean, he could win the Cy Young this year. It isn't as much of that, even though I really like Misiorowski. But for mid-season, I'm going to give it to Agustin Ramirez, probably Kim, and then Baldwin. But I do expect Misiorowski to win the NL Rookie of the Year at the end of the year because he's a dog. All right, AL Comeback Player of the Year. I think it is one of my favorite awards in all of sports is Comeback Player of the Year. You're known what these players are, who they are. Maybe some of them your fans or studs from 5-6 years ago, and they are back and they are better than ever. And this year is really fun because I think this is some of like my favorite players that aren't Yankees to watch. I loved watching Javi Baez, Buxton. I think Torkelson's a fun one, very unique in the way that he was supposed to be super good, but now he's really kind of breaking out. DeGrom and Drew Rasmussen are my 5 players for the AL Comeback Player of the Year. I think that it's a fun award, and if I had to give it to someone, I'm giving it to Jacob DeGrom. I think that coming into the year, I was probably a DeGrom doubter. Like, is he really going to stay healthy? And even if he is, like, is he going to be Jacob DeGrom? Like, it's been so long since we've been seeing Jacob DeGrom be Jacob DeGrom. And I think that when you look at it, I'm like, ooh, like, coming into the year, right? Like, Texas struggled so bad. They're struggling again this year, but DeGrom is that piece, is that guy. I do expect him to probably get traded. I'd be very surprised why Texas would keep him. There's really no reason to not get a package on a team that just has not found it since their World Series win. And at the end of the day, if you're a Rangers fan, it sucks, but you just won a World Series. On the other end, I love seeing Byron Buxton play his game. He's such a fun and good player. Javi Baez, again, such a fun player. He has slowed down. I don't think he's the starting center fielder in the AL game. Does he necessarily deserve that? Probably not in comparison to some of the other guys. But again, I'm going to sit here and say that, like, I like seeing Javi Baez back on the top of his game, looking like himself. That, like, multi-homer game where he, like, walked it off was just awesome. Torkelson, finally getting to where Torkelson is. I mean, he's been pretty much, like, just up there with Buxton in terms of if this was just a hitting award, it would be a close race between them. But again, I want to shout out Drew Rasmussen as well, a 2.82 ERA. He's pitched in 18 games. He's ate up some innings, 7-5 record on a Tampa Bay Rays team that has surprised me this year, just like how the Rays do every year. They're just sneaky good with this sneaky talent they build up in their farm. So if I had to rank it, I'm giving this award to Jacob DeGrom, then Byron Buxton, and then I'm going to give it to Javi Baez. On the NL side of this award, we have Spencer Strider, Robbie Ray, Ronald Acuna Jr., and Corbin Carroll. Again, premier players that we've seen. Robbie Ray in 22 win the Cy Young for Seattle. He's been around for a long time. Strider, Acuna, Atlanta getting healthy even though they haven't been playing super well. And then Corbin Carroll. Again, Carroll, in my opinion, to win this award doesn't make as much sense because he did have a strong second half to that year last year where, okay, he's still going to be good. It wasn't a one-year wonder of a rookie of the season, but it's good to see him like back and having a good start to the season and being on a Diamondback team that is probably the funnest team in baseball to watch just because they're putting up 10 runs a game and they might be losing 11-10 or they're winning 11-10. I mean, they're in shootouts every night, and I love that offense. Shout out to Eugenio Suarez as well. I think he's been an absolute unit for Arizona. They have a sneaky fun team. I'm interested what their plans are for the deadline, if they're going to be sellers, buyers, just kind of hold it out and stick it out with this squad that just made the World Series a couple of years ago. But losses to like Corbin Burns and stuff really hurts that team. But when discussing this award, I think at the mid-season point, it is between Robbie Ray, it is between Corbin Carroll. I think Ronald Acuna is going to win this award pretty easily at the end of the year. He's been insane since coming back. He looks like Acuna. He's so fun to watch. He's very similar to Mike Trout, in my opinion, where I just wish we could see Acuna, Trout. These guys play at the top of their level every year without getting injured. Because they're so fun to watch. They're so talented. But that's how sports are, as unfortunate as it is. With Strider, again, he's pitched in 10 games to a 3.93 ERA. Really having him up here is saying that I think he's going to have a better second half. But is he even close to Robbie Ray? No, Robbie Ray wipes the floor with him in terms of literally every statistic apart from like K percentage and walks, but that's also because he's pitched in 9 more games and they're literally walk percentages exact same. So really it's just like the K percentage, and again, when you play in more games, your K percentage is expected to go down a little bit, but I think Robbie Ray and Corbin Carroll have been super good. If I had to give this award out to a 2.63 ERA, I'm giving it to Robbie Ray, then Corbin Carroll, then Ronald Acuna. But if I have to predict who's going to win at the end of the year, give me Ronald Acuna. He's a dog, as well as all these guys on this list. I think all of them are going to have great second halves. I think Strider, I think Acuna, maybe even the Braves have a strong second half. But this is mid-season, so I'm going to give it to Robbie Ray. All right, moving over to the AL reliever of the year, we have Andre Munoz, Aroldis Chapman, and Josh Hader. Again, premier faces of relieving for the last couple of years, maybe in different spots. Chapman in Boston and Hader in Houston. I guess Munoz has moved around a little bit, but he's been there for a little bit longer than those other guys. But it is honestly not a very close race. I love putting Chapman up here because he's had a really good year. He hasn't had as many saves. I don't know if he's been the closer the whole year. They've had a weird situation there in Boston. They also haven't been as good of a team as Seattle, as Houston. Houston somehow keep being good, as much as I hate the Astros as a Yankees fan. Josh Hader has been pitching good, 2.38 ERA and 25 saves, but in my opinion, it is easily Andre Munoz for this award. 21 saves to a 1.06 ERA. Are we joking? He's been disgustingly good. And honestly, all three of these guys have to get credit. I think we've seen with different relievers around the league, with Devin Williams, with Emmanuel Clase, who last year were both in this competition to be the reliever of the year. And I mean, Emmanuel Clase had like a 0.46 ERA or whatever it was, ridiculously last year, and he struggled this year. Relievers, in my opinion, closers, in my opinion, this year have just struggled. And I think to see Chapman at like 37, throwing how he is, Hader being super good, Munoz being super good. These are guys that haven't, just shown up. This isn't Mason Miller where it's like, yeah, we're seeing the breakout and an A's team that's starting to click. No, these are guys who have been around and are still playing at the top of their level, even at this kind of second half of their careers. So honestly, again, another one of these where I kind of like looking at the comeback player of the years, because some of these guys, like seeing Chapman up here, maybe as a Yankee fan, I wish Chapman didn't have as many bad iconic moments for us. Wish we could have won with him, but at the end of the day, man, to see what he's doing, like a sinker at like 103, it is ridiculous. Just how he throws the ball, how intimidating it would be as a hitter to face Chapman. I think he's a scary pitcher. He just throws hard. The way he even throws the ball, and his motion is just scary. But I'm gonna give it to Andre Munoz, then Hader, then Chapman for my AL reliever of the year. All right, for the NL reliever of the year, I feel like we have a common theme here with our awards, that I personally like the AL awards a lot more than the NL awards this year. When looking around the MLB at the reliever of the year, it's a very interesting argument. Robert Suarez has the most saves, then Edwin Diaz, Camilo Doval, and Ryan Helsley. Now, Helsley just being in here just kind of as a number to kind of showcase, like, in comparison, here's Helsley to kind of all the guys. He doesn't really dominate in any statistic as a closer. Camilo Doval wasn't even the closer to start this year as Ryan Walker was, but now he's won back his role and as the closer has been pitching pretty well, but to a 3.10 ERA. Then Robert Suarez, who has been shelled at points, and a 3.72 ERA over 26 saves. So I think that this isn't as fun of an award this year on the AL side. The pitchers are playing a lot better, and again, we're seeing it in the National League where I talked about where closers are struggling, and I think this is easily Edwin Diaz's award. It's good to see him pitching back at Diaz's level since he got hurt in the WBC, but yeah, this is his award. I mean, 4-0 win-loss does not matter as a closer, but 18 saves is super good. Comparative to Robert Suarez, you might be saying, well, Robert Suarez has like 8 more saves. Is that not better? Yes, but a 1.75 ERA, and he wins in pretty much every other statistic. I do have to give this to Edwin Diaz, and I probably see him win this out at the end of the season as well. Doval, he has some shaky starts. I have him in fantasy as a closer. I know this is fantasy baseball, but sometimes I watch Doval and I'm like, Jesus, Doval, you make it as hard as possible. Helsley in this Cardinals team, I could see him maybe get traded. I don't know. The Cardinals are so weird. And then Suarez, I do see him lower that ERA, pitch super good, and kind of give Diaz a run for his money late in this NL reliever of the year competition. And last but not least, we have the American League Manager of the Year. There's not a lot of fun statistics we can compare and look at. Oh wow, he's leading in this charge. There's not really a lot to compare. It's just based off records. I think what AJ Hinch is doing in Detroit is super impressive with this team. They have just a fun squad that I really like. John Schneider has rallied these Blue Jays to a 10-game win streak before the All-Star break as I'm filming this. As much as I do not like the Blue Jays, they're playing great ball. They have a kind of a fun team. And Schneider's been a great manager. And then Kevin Cash for the Rays. Maybe you could throw in Joey Espadada or whatever his name is for Houston. But I think it's A.J. Hint. I'm going to give it to the Tigers, what they've been able to do this year with the players they have, the resurgence. And I think that as a manager of the year, I think managing in baseball is important, but I think it's very different than other sports, right? It's decisions more than really building up like in football, it's a coach's decision either whether to go for it on fourth down, sure, but it's also a coach's decision how to run the offense, how to run the defense, plays this, that. Baseball it is not that. They're not micromanaging every at bat in the sense that like a football coach would. So I think managers in baseball are super important. I think good managers help teams. I think bad managers worsen teams, but I don't think managers are as big as things. I think any bad team, you're seeing them fire this guy, fire that guy. I think it's just really realistically your team is pretty shit. They have holes in the team. I see it with my Yankees and Aaron Boone. I am not a Boone hater. I think that he's managed his team badly at times, but do I think after going to the World Series and he's going to be the AL like All-Star Game manager, do I think they're going to fire him? Should they fire him? He's made bad decisions. Do I think playing Jazz at third base for as long as he should have been the decision there? Probably not. I don't want to go into Yankees rant here, but at the end of the day, like, he's got 5 pitching injuries. The bullpen's been terrible, and he doesn't have a third baseman. He's trying to figure it out. And with Grisham arriving, it's hard to play Dominguez every day and all that. But managers are tough. Managers who make good decisions help their team win. And I think on the AL side, it's been A.J. Hint, it's been John Schneider, and it's been Kevin Cash. On the National League side, to wrap up our first half awards, we have Craig Counsell, Pat Murphy, and Bob Melvin. In my opinion, for the 3 favorites of manager of the year. Craig Counsell and what he's done with this Cubs team, I think we could have expected them to be as good as they have been. He's made good decisions. He's been a good manager. Pat Murphy, he's a fun manager on a Brewers team that's just hard not to cheer for. You just want them to kind of like get over the hump. I really like Jackson Chourio. I really like Christian Yelich. I like a lot of their guys on their team. Bob Melvin, again, a Giants team that has kind of struggled as of late. I don't love the Giants and like the trajectory. I really thought they were going to like skyrocket after this Devers trade. They really have kind of been in and out and have lost to some bad teams as of late. But again, on the National League side, I don't think it's as fun as on the American League side. If I had to give this award out, though, I am giving it to Craig Counsell. Well, guys, that wraps up our mid-season MLB awards. This has been a good first half of baseball. It's been very interesting. We've had some fun award races and just general baseball in general. I love the baseball season. It goes by so fast. Let me know in the comments down below if I should do a like home run derby, maybe All-Star MVP kind of predictions video before the All-Star break. But yeah, thank you for the first half of baseball. If you guys enjoyed this video, remember to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.